What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Power Book 2, Season 2, Episode 6. So listen, Lorenzo was home, and like he is partying, and he got everybody down to the house. You know, people paying tribute. He's bigging up his daughter. He's like, you know, Diana, she might ride or die. She the one that got me out of jail. She the only one that can make it happen. Now, there's a dude there that was in jail with Lorenzo, and I think he might be a problem in the future. And he's kind of looking like, yo, Diana, how a little girl like you get this to happen? And she was like, wasn't me, it was our lawyers. He was like, how you get money for a lawyer? And I feel like he asking questions that he don't need to be asking because it ain't his damn business. And she was like, because I'm a hustler. So, of course, you know, Monet is on the sideline looking at her like, yeah, whatever, bitch. You stole it from me. That's where the money came from. But anyway, Monet is not happy about it. You know, you can definitely tell that she is feeling some kind of way. And then we see Zeke coming in with the whole football team. Now, security stops him at the door like, we don't know you, homie. And Lorenzo was like, yo, this is a private party. And he said, well, wait a minute, my auntie said I could come, I could bring some of my boys. And, you know, Monet was like, hey, you don't remember my nephew? You probably, it's been a long time since you've seen him. He was like, oh, yeah, nah, I never met you, nephew. Now, the way he said nephew, I feel like he know who that boy is. Now, that's just me, because the way he was like, nephew, he kind of put a little oomph on it. But, I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Now, we also see that Lorenzo is playing power games in a lot of different ways. He's playing power games with the dude that he was in jail with, trying to get him to come work for him. And he was like, yo, I'm running my own crew now. Like, I don't really need to, you know, because Monet was like, if y'all was so cool, why you ain't never come and check on us when you got out? And he was like, my bad, you know, I've been busy trying to, you know, get my own thing going. And Lorenzo was trying to get him to come work for him. And dude was like, I got my own crew. And he named the crew. And he was like, wait a minute, them same dudes that I protected you from in jail, now that's who you running with right now? And he was like, yeah. He was like, so yeah, you know, that's why I can't work for you, because I got my own thing going on. Then we got Lil Guap there, who trying to take a picture with Lorenzo for his Instagram. Lorenzo was like, what the fuck? Like, ain't nobody taking no pictures for no Instagram. He was like, that's part of your problem now. But if you remember, that goes back to season 1. Well, I say that like this is season 20, but that goes back to last season when Monet had a problem with doing business with them because they were all over social media and they were too hot. They were too visual. Lorenzo is also making power plays with his kids. He's determined to put Kane on the sideline and put the other son in the position of power, even though he don't really want it. Then one of the basketball players that Zeke bought with him was Everett, you know, the dude that not only is sleeping with the son, but then snitched him out to the police. Man, Monet done threatened him and told him get the hell out of her house. And he left. The other power play we see Lorenzo making is with Monet. Now, I feel like he's determined to put Monet back in her place. Like, I feel like when he went to jail, Monet was probably the typical hustler's wife. Went shopping, spent the money, knew what was going on, but sort of like what we saw Tasha was, right? She got in where she fit in, but she wasn't really trying to be in charge of nothing. But when he went to jail, she sort of had to take over the business, and it changed the situation. But now that he's back, I think he's doing everything in his power to remind her, listen, I need you to go back to being who you were before I went to jail. I'm back and I'm in charge. And so he was like demeaning her the whole night, telling her to go get chicken, and you know what I mean? Like whenever she tried to put her 2 cents in the conversation, sort of dismissing her. So the next day, we see them in bed talking, and again, he's telling her, listen, I'm in charge, you know, I know what I want to do. Because she was like, why you putting Kane on the sideline? Like, what are you doing? Now, I think ultimately he ain't forgot that Kane betrayed them. You know, he ain't forgot about last year when, you know, Kane was out there acting stupid and then he ended up putting his hand on Monet. Like, I think he's still kind of punishing Kane for that, you know. I think he feels like the oldest son not only is smarter, like business-wise smarter, but I also think that he knows that he could probably keep him in check. With Kane is a wild card. Kane is a wild card, and you can't keep a cap on that. So Diana's gonna come in there with breakfast, and she bringing him breakfast in bed. She talking about something, so I don't get no breakfast. She said, I ain't think you were hungry. See, Diana, you playing games. Like, your daddy's home and you helped him get home and you think that you got some leg up on Monet now. Now, I can't be too mad at you because Monet really been treating you like shit. So I can't be too mad about it, but I think you're going to get a little bit beside yourself too, and I think you're going to get your little feelings hurt, okay? Now, Lorenzo tells the sons that it's time for them to take a ride. You know, they bought him some clothes from the basement. What the hell made y'all think he wanted them clothes? First of all, them things, they can't be worth anything at this point. Like, they certainly are not in style. They probably don't even fit anymore, okay? But anyway, so he's taking his sons out, you know, to go down to the Ave, do some shopping, and go see some things. And they end up going by the bar, which of course still ain't back in business. The son that got shot, of course, he's having a little PTSD, talking about that's the way it happened. I felt it hit my skin and it burned. Lorenzo was like, yeah, everybody talk about, you know, getting shot, but nobody talks about how it sticks with you. You know, he was like, but you'll be alright. You'll be alright. Kane then went and got his father's Jesus piece, and he done got it upgraded and cleaned and everything. And his father was like, you know what, this is all great and all, but you know, would have been a great welcome home gift for me. Introduce me to your connect. And so, of course, you know, Kane ain't trying to give up his connect. He is not trying to give up his connect, honey. So he was like, yeah, you know, I'll talk to him. Now, while all of this is going on, Tariq is being arraigned down in court. Now, listen, Tariq is being charged with double murder, with double homicide, and one of those homicides being a cop. Ain't nowhere in the world that they about to let him out. The courtroom is full of cops, and he don't have nobody on his side. Not even his little girlfriend, Lauren, that came down there to check on him, okay? Now, he's being held without bond, right? He can't, there's no bond for him. So we see him talking to his lawyers, and he's trying to, you know, find out, like, what can I do? And they were like, listen, the only way you're going to get out of here is if we can get the right judge, and we can get that right judge, the right, you know, the right, incentive to want to let you out of here. And so he was like, get Tate down here. I'll talk to him. So before, he was like, all right, Tate, you know, because of course, you know, Davis understands what's going on, but Sachs is going to ask Tariq, did he do it? And of course, Tariq is, you know, he's smart enough not to sit there and confess. But as soon as he left, Davis was like, yo, if you ever do that again, listen, I'm going to fire you. Like, don't you ever ask a client if he's guilty, because if he says yes, we can't ever put him on the stand. You compromise our whole case. Like, you don't do that. Like, you still thinking like a prosecutor and not a defense attorney. I'm gonna need you to get it together and figure out what team you want, right? Now Monet confronts Diana about the situation. She was like, why you ain't tell me your father was coming home? She was like, because he told me not to. She was like, what do you mean he told you not to? Like, I need to know these things. And she was like, you know, she's getting smart with her and sassing her or whatever. And she was like, you know, so you gonna steal my money and then not even tell me what's going on with my money. And she was like, I ain't tell you to do that. And she was like, I killed a man over that money, but I ain't tell you to do that. Yo, Monet about tried to kill that girl. Like, she choked her ass out. Okay. Now, while this is going on, Tariq is having a moment in jail where, of course, his conscience, aka Kanan, comes to talk to him. And he's talking about how he knows that Kane set him up, and as soon as he gets out, he going after him. And Kanan was like, that's smart. The police, you're going to be hot. The police going to be looking at you, and you're just going to go straight for the Tejada family, and you think there's not going to be any repercussions from anybody for that? And he was like, well, what am I supposed to do? He was like, first of all, you need to figure out that it's not just one person that's coming after you. You need to figure out that if this was a setup, this is more detailed than what you think it is. So he automatically says, oh, Monet. It must be Monet and Kane. Which it's really not, but I can understand that being a conclusion that, you know, Monet was in on it, because Monet really didn't want Tariq to get set up. Matter of fact, she didn't want to touch Tariq. So Lauren goes to confront Professor Hot Pants about the wire and about Tariq being arrested. Now, Professor is convinced that Tariq is guilty. So her thing is, well, he's where he belongs. He ain't getting out of jail. He being charged with a crime. Now, what frustrates me with this scene is she's a former prosecutor, and she knows that even though she might want Tariq to be guilty and she might feel like Tariq is guilty, she knows it's not that black and white. So for her to be like, well, he's going to be in jail he's going to stay in jail and don't you never worry about it and da 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 da. I'm like, girl, you know it ain't that easy. But of course, Lauren is feeling some kind of way because, you know, she feels like she has something to do. She said, you told me that they were looking at Braden. And she was like, well, you know, after some things, you know, they got more information. They changed the focus of their investigation. And Lauren was like, and you never told me? And she was like, I mean, listen, you got to just keep in mind that Tariq is a bad guy. Good riddance. Stay away from him. Whatever. So class starts and they get to having this whole conversation like, so we're gonna pretend like we don't know the elephant in the room about Tariq getting arrested. So the class ends up having a conversation about Tariq's guilt or innocence, whether he'll be able to come back to school or not, you know. And of course, there's only one person in class that keeps reminding them innocent until proven guilty, even though we know Tariq is guilty. But they don't know Tariq is guilty. They think he's guilty. And Tate kind of steps in and he kind of gives them the alternative argument saying, listen, in this country, it's not necessarily whether you're guilty. It's about what you can prove and whether you have the right means to sort of finagle your way out. Like, at the end of the day, he is innocent until proven guilty. And we need to be fair about that. And I was like, Now, while this is going on, Monet done went to go visit Mecca, okay? And she's telling him, listen, I know we had this whole dream that we was going to ride off into the sunset. But, baby, my husband from jail, he is back. And it's not going down like that. I'm not going to be able to make that happen. You know, he is the father of my kids. I owe it to him for us to be a family. And, of course, Dante was like, so what am I supposed to do? Like, at the end of the day, I still have a son. And I want to meet my son. And she was like, listen, I can still make that happen. But you're going to have to just work with me and give me time. You know, you can't be introduced to him as your son, but I can introduce you to him. So, while this is going on, Lorenzo calls Monet and lets Monet know that Tariq done got picked up for the case against, for murder. And he was like, so what did you and Kane do? Like, this is stupid. It's going to blow back on us, which, of course, she realizes it's stupid. And like I said, she didn't have nothing to do with it. She didn't tell Kane to set Tariq up. So she goes to Method Man and takes him $250,000 and was like, basically, I'm paying you this money to make sure that if something comes up that's going to start to steer in the direction back towards us, you need to let us know. He talking about something, if you double it, I'll make sure. Double it? $500,000 just for some information? If you don't go sit your greedy ass down, Davis. But of course she say she gonna get it. So she meets up with Kane and she's like, listen, we need to get 250 bands back up so we can get it to Davis. So first of all, why did you set Tariq up? And he was like, what you mean? You told me to handle it. I handled it. She was like, but I told you to handle it, but not to let it blow back on us. We're only 2 steps away from Tariq. Like, if they figure out Tariq is involved, they could very easily come back towards us. She said, and we need to keep course correct going, but Lorenzo can't know. Because we need to get this money up, and we don't need Lorenzo to know all the moves that we making, okay? So that's what we doing. So now you and Kane are in business behind your husband's back. Kane is in business behind all y'all's back. So he goes back to Mecca. He tells Mecca what's going on and that his dad wants to meet him. And Mecca was like, nah, this is you. I'm not meeting you. I'm not meeting your father. You to connect. Far as he know, you to connect. So you handle it, and that's what it's going to be. So Tate goes to visit Tariq in jail. And here goes Tariq ass, wheeling and dealing. He told Tate, listen, if you get me out of here, I got the information you need. Tate was like, I've been waiting for that information. Now all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe you got it? And Tariq was like, listen, I was at their house. I saw this photo album that's got some pictures in there that definitely will get you what you need, just so you know. And so Tate was like, I tell you what, it better. Like, I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do. But if I don't get what I need, you're going to wish that you had stayed your ass in jail, right? So next thing you know, we go back to court. Tariq ass get out on $1 million bond. Now, I don't know who the hell paid that $1 million bond. But whatever. Tariq out on the ankle monitor because Tate didn't talk to the right judge to say the right thing. Lorenzo is putting his foot down once again. He's talking to the family about who's in charge and who's running what. He told Diana, you out the business, you're going to school, but you're not going to Stansfield, you going to St. John's. And she was like, what? I wanted to go to Stansfield. He was like, nah, you staying right here. You going to school right here, but you're going to school. See, Diana, you see what happened? You got what you wanted, but you didn't get it the way you wanted to get it, did you? Monet want to know what's going on, why she being sidelined. Lorenzo said, listen, I appreciate everything you did. I appreciate you holding the family down, but I don't need you no more. I need you to go back to doing what you was doing before. I need you cooking and cleaning, okay? And I need you to go shopping. And he gives her a bankroll of money to go shopping with, which of course is just utterly degrading because she was like, really? That's what it is? Just go shopping? All right, cool. So Tariq gets back to school, and of course he runs into Lauren, and he don't have no words for Lauren because he was like, yo, where were you today? Why weren't you in court? And she was like, I just had so much I need to figure out. And he was like, really, you? Like, ain't nobody asked you to bail me out. Nobody asked you for all of that. But it would have been nice to have somebody in court with me. Like, there was nobody there. And I'm like, oh, poor Tariq. Oh, nobody likes you. Asshole. Anyway, so he basically tells her, yo, we done. You know, basically when I needed you, you weren't there for me, and that's a wrap. Like, that's over with us. And she tries to talk to him, and he ain't trying to hear it. He gets back to the room. He cusses Braden out. You know, he's like, Braden, Kane set you up. I told you to let me know if he was hanging around. You didn't tell me nothing. And Braden was like, yo, listen, first and foremost, you know I would never allow somebody to set you up. I didn't know what was going on. But let's be fair. You don't tell me nothing. And Tariq was like, I tell you what you need to know. Like, you didn't need to know more than what I said. So at the end of the day, if you had done what I told you to do, none of this would have happened. And, you know, so Tariq did what he normally does. He cusses Braden out, tell him he can't trust him no more, yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, here come Effie. I still don't trust Effie, y'all. Now, I know that they must have cleared everything up at the beginning of the year or whatever, but I don't trust her ass. But she came back telling Tariq, I'm here for you. I got your back. Do you know who set you up? Do you know what happened? And she did talk some sense into Tariq, though. She told Tariq, listen, at the end of the day, you're not being fair to Braden because you're not telling Braden everything he needs to know. You're not giving him the information he needs, and you know that he would never purposely set you up. So, like, you need to apologize to him, and y'all need to go ahead and get this shit straight so we can get this money. And then she was like, Monet doesn't trust Tariq anymore because Monet is kind of giving him the side eye, like, how the hell did your ass get out on bond for a double homicide, including a cop, which I could understand that. So they sent Effie to do business with Monet. Now, why the hell Monet would trust Effie and not trust Tariq? I don't know. But whatever the situation is, they're going to run the course correct through Stansfield. Him and Braden done made up, child. He's sleeping with Effie again. And Kane, he know that Kane has set him up, right? So then while all of this is going on, Monet done went back to Mecca to tell him, you know what, I changed my mind. This is the last time we're going to see each other, and you need to stay away from Zeke because it's going to be too disruptive to his basketball career. So when, so of course, when she said that to him, of course, Mecca was not happy about that, okay? Now, we're back at the house, and Lorenzo is having a conversation with Kane, and he's telling Kane, like, what's up with the connect? And baby, Kane he done put on his big boy drawers, and he starts talking to his daddy crazy, telling his daddy, listen, as far as you concerned, I am the connect. You work with me or you don't work at all. You got to make this happen through me. And Lorenzo was like, oh, that's what we doing? That's what we doing? No sooner did Kane had his whole conversation with his daddy about who's in charge and how he got to go through him, Mecca gonna call him back and say, oh, I changed my mind. I want to meet with your dad. Well, he didn't say your dad. He's like, I want to meet with him anyway. Tell him you'll meet with the connect. So now, of course, Kane feels some kind of way because now he got to go back to his daddy like, oh, well, yeah, you know, I guess you can meet my connect. So it's making Kane look crazy. But in the meantime and in between time, child, the whole situation that got worked out. Course correct is back up and running. And Sax go down to go visit his girlfriend, and he feeling some kind of way about it. And he sees Lauren coming up out her office. So now he knows that Lauren is one of the informants. And of course, he ain't happy about that. Tariq gets Braden to go steal the photo album from his house so he can get that information to Tate before Tate come looking for him. And that is pretty much where we wrap this episode up. Listen. As far as I'm concerned, I don't trust Effie. I'm waiting for this whole showdown between Lorenzo and Mecca, because I think if the writers don't screw it up, I think that's going to be sort of epic. But anyway, that's what it is. And Tariq burned the letter from his daddy. But that's what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Talk to y'all later. Peace.